Thank you from the President Chen Sixiong. I think this is my first time. This conference we have this is 6 times, but this is my first time to have a presentation in the main hall. And so when I want this chance to have presentation, so I think my topic maybe must be focused on our campus problem. So my topic will talk about the carbon neutral pathway. And this pathway, in fact, this morning, our President Lin Chongming had talked about this topic. He said, oh, we hope in 2028, we want to reach the carbon neutrality. So, of course, this is a very big issue. So today, I think I want to explain some idea from my viewpoint. Okay? 我想我就尽量就中文跟英文就反复来讲一下哈 ，OK 因为有些人可能就是不是很了解这个英文的部分，好 ，OK so this topic I will talk about from the 4 point of view. The first is the why we need to do the carbon neutrality, and the second is how to reach the carbon neutrality. And the three, I will talk about the fall of our university, then finally in the future plan. So why we need to do the carbon neutrality? I think this morning our President Lin, he had talked about the temperature problem. So in fact, in the past 100 years, in fact, the climate impact will have only 0.7 degree of warming. Okay, but we continue to extend the carbon dioxide emission. In fact, if you can see this figure, you can see this figure. Okay. In fact, in the end of this century, maybe our temperature will cross 1.5 degree. This is a very big issue. The first issue is because of the rise of the rise of the temperature, the sea level will rise because ice will disappear, right? So if you can see Taiwan, you can see this place where? Yunlin跟嘉义. Okay, this is the first impact to our island. So we can see this 6 meters, some of place will be disappear. If you have time, maybe later you can go to visit our center. In our center, the first view is have a picture. This picture will show 6 meters, 50 meters, 25 meters, and more meters. And many places will disappear in Taiwan. Okay. In fact, the picture is 6 years ago by our dean of the center, Chen Sixiong. Okay. So, but I think really important for us this first issue. And the second issue is the extreme weather. What is extreme weather? I think I use a very simple figure to explain to everyone. Okay, so you can see the first thing is because we have a higher temperature. So higher temperature, what happens? We will have more water, more heat with evaporation into the air. Into the air, then we have more moisture. More moisture will form the cloud. Then we have heavy rain. So this is a real happen in Taiwan. You can see this is past 100 years. You can see the rainfall depth. In fact, you can see the rainfall depth is stable. It means in Taiwan, maybe 1 year, our rainfall depth is only maybe 2,000 millimeters. It's stable. But another thing you can see is not stable. In fact, the annual rainfall day is decreased very, very much. If you compare our rainfall day, you can see 100 years ago, maybe, and compared to today, the difference
maybe more than 50 days， 也就是我们100年前跟100年后，我们降雨日数少了100天呐，好，那是少了50天呐，啊，少了50天。Okay, so what happened to this? In fact, very serious impact to our agriculture, to our weather, to our everything. Like this morning, Professor Chen Sixiong talked about the water problem, this very big issue. Of course, you can see this figure. The summertime will increase, but the wintertime will decrease. And you can see this extreme typhoon increase. If you can see the past 40 years, you can find from 2000 to 2009, in fact, we have 11 extreme typhoon in Taiwan. Very serious. So this, of course, this kind of thing will have some kind of job will be increased. For example, like me, my background is soil and water conservation. I graduated from the National University. So I had many classmates. Now they have very rich. Why? Because they have many projects because of the extreme weather. But it's not a good thing. Okay. So in the landslide, in fact, in the upstream of the watershed, we have a landslide and debris flow. And in like this one, there's a Molac typhoon. But in fact, for the agriculture, we still have many impact. I think that two most important is that in the agricultural production market, will impact the food security. This is very important. And how? Okay, so now we know the problem. So how to reduce the impact of the climate change? I think we can have from two ways. The first way is we need to reduce the extent of climate change. How to reduce? We just need to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide. This is the first issue. And the other issue is we need to mitigation. We want to reduce the impact of the climate change. Oh, and in fact, my major is how to mitigation, how to adaptation the extreme weather. This is my major. Now, because I'm the dean of the surveillance center, so I also need to focus the topic on reducing the climate change. Okay. So this is the background about the carbon dioxide problem. Then the second issue is how to reach the carbon neutral. So I think we can separate into four steps. The first step is we need to do some environment management. We need to do this first thing. We want to maybe we can in this kind of answer like previous speaker to talk about using how to using the carbon. We can use the carbon to increase the fertilizer. This is one answer. And the second thing is you need to understand how many carbon you emission to the air. So you need to view and check your carbon emission. This is the second thing. And third thing is you know how many carbon you have emission to the air. So you must find a way to reduce your carbon emission. So finally, maybe we can reach the carbon neutrality. I think you can see this figure. This figure is Chinese, as everyone can understand. So the first step, I can say is the environment management. So if you to check the standard of the international standard, you can see this one. There's ISO 14001. Now I think this is the first step. Everyone needs to do. Every company you can try to measure your company. And the second thing you need to understand how many carbon emission in your company, in your factory, in your farm. So you must check this one, this ISO 4-1. Okay, this second thing. Then, if you want to know the carbon footprint of your production, you need to check this ISO 14067. This what you need to do. So this, I think, the second thing you need to check your carbon emission. The third thing is you need to reduce your carbon. How to reduce? I think first issue is like this ISO 50001, this energy minimum. For example, like in Taiwan, in our school, in fact, we start ISO 50001 in 2014. And that, I think that this year, 佛光山佛陀纪念馆, we start to do this energy minimum. The second thing is like you want to do something like the circular economy. Later, after me, the Taiwan Sugar Corporation, Sun Ming CEO, he will talk about the circular economy. In fact, the department just the certification of the BS 801, and we are the assistant to have them to get this certification. Then finally, you want to reach the carbon neutral or net zero. Okay, so this two thing is in fact is really different. If your company just want to reach the carbon neutral, I think is more easy. You can using like the solar panel to reach. But if you want to reach the net zero, it means you must absorb all the carbon emission in your company. How to do? I think you can using like the forest, like organic agriculture to reach the requirement. So this is the final we want to reach. In fact, of course, in Nanhua University, we hope we can reach the carbon neutral in 2028. So this is my duty. So now I need to find a way to reach the carbon neutral. So next course I will talk about the flow of our work in past. I think past 6 years or 7 years. You can see we from 2015 until now we do the ISO 5001. This is the first step, and in 2016 we set up Surveillance Center. And in 2017, we set up a master program of the green technology for sustainability. So from this year, we start an international conference under the guideline of Professor Chen Sixiong and Professor Lin Chongming to teach us, and we start this conference. And from this year, we continue to invite many international expert and professor to join our conference. So until now, I think this year I'm really happy we can invite so many famous professors and so many experts to join. And especially we thanks the Professor Chen Yisong to invite many experts to join us. And next year, we're really happy. Next year, the 佛光山佛陀纪念馆 will organize this conference for us. So next year, this conference, we will go to Kaohsiung to have another time, and so I'm really happy. Then in this year, in 2018, we got the certification of the ISO 14064-1. But this version is, you can see this version in 2006. But in fact, after this year, the ISO changed the version. But this version, okay, we just got this version. And from this version, we know we have many carbon emission in our school. So we want to reduce, and we want to can reduce our carbon emission. So in in 2 years ago, we got the certification of the facility and the Institute of Environmental Education from the Ministry of Environment Protection. So, and in last year, we start to preparation the solid carbon sequestration in our campus. We used almost 3 months to check all the tree in our campus, and we also to find many places. In fact, we can replace the tree, and some place is just grass. So maybe in this year, we can plant more tree on the land, and then we can increase our carbon sequestration. So this, you can see this is the certification of the ISO 5001. This is the energy management system. So in this year, our President Lin, he gave a signature to say we will follow the rule of the ISO 5001. And after we do this setup, we are very proud that, in fact, our energy usage intensity only 71. So it's really low. Because the standard energy usage intensity in Taiwan, in campus, in school, is almost 90. But our school now is reduced very low. This is our performance. So this is why this morning our President say, in the past 3 years, we got a very good award from the Ministry of Environment Education. Then the second thing is I want to introduce our center. In fact, our center is established by the Professor Chen Sixiong, and after he set up this center, then he called me. I hope me from the Nanhua University come to this school to do something. And in fact, I think for a long time, I think more than 2 months, I think so. Because I stayed in Nanhua University more than 14 years. But finally, because I think President Lin Tongming and President Chen Sixiong, both of them are very famous, and also there are many ideas about the carbon nutrition and about the climate change. So I think maybe I come to this school, I can do something. So I come to this school 6 years ago. Okay, so now I am the CEO of this center. In our center, in fact, we want to do something, so we can separate into 4 departments. First department is economic group. In fact, economic group, our member is the professor of the master program of green technology for sustainability. And the second group is the research group. The research group, our projects come from our school. Some projects come from the outside our school. And our mission is we have organic agriculture farm, and we have some campus environmental system. So we must do some research topic in this group. And also we have some other outside project, and we need to do the research. And in addition, we have promotion group. This promotion group, in fact, we do some project like the climate change project, like we have the Taiwan Sugar Corporation to do the BS-801. And also we do some like environmental education. And in addition, we do the university sustainability responsibility. Okay, this is our project. And also we have someone who to control all the budget. Okay, so we have 4 groups. So this is all we got. This display. We got the certification of the ISO 14061 in 2018. And with total emission, we can include in two scopes. One is direct emission. Another one is indirect emission. Indirect emission, I think, main is the from the electric power, and totally, sorry, just this spill. Totally is not too much, only 4,000 tons in our campus. This is our center. We set up this center 6 years ago. This is a history picture. You can see. This person, in fact, we invite him today, but he got sick, so today he cannot come. And you can see this President Lin Chongming and this Jian Youxin, right? And this our President Chen Sixiong, history, and okay. Then our center also has some mission. So I just separate into three kinds of mission. The first mission is we do the ESG report. The second mission, we want to do the reducing and adaptation of climate change. And the third mission, we want to do the education. This education is sustainability education. So this is our three missions of our center. So first thing, we do the ESG report. But in fact, in the beginning, we not do the ESG report. From the 2014, in fact, I come to school in 2016. From 2016 to 2018, we do the corporate sustainability report, CSR report. And in the 2 years ago, we do the university sustainability report. Then this year, we will transform to the ESG report. What's the ESG report? What's the difference between ESG and CSR? In fact, it's because of the criteria. For the CSR report, we check the requirement is a GI standard. But if you want to write an ESG report, we must follow the rule of the SASB report and also the GI standard. So this year we will replace and we will rewrite again our report and publish. Then second thing is the climate change adaptation. We do many early warning systems. In fact, this is my major in past 10 years. So the first thing we do the campus climate and air quality management system. This is the first step we do. We do this in 2016. Then the second thing, we got some project from our campus. This project is from the Taipei City government. And we do early flow and landslide warning system of heat slope. And this project now we have do for 4 years. We have do it 4 years. And the third kind of project is about the early landslide warning system from the Soil and Water Conservation Bureau. This is another project. So this three kind of project is show we want to do some climate change early warning system. And you can see this one. This system, in fact, is in our campus. You can see we just monitoring the temperature, humidity, wind speed, and wind direction, precipitation, and PM10 and PM2.5. This in our campus. The second thing, we want to reducing the carbon emission of our campus. How to do? So I think the first thing is we want to reduce all the garbage in our campus. So and also want to any activity we want to the activity is low carbon emission. So we set up this certification in our campus. In fact, this certification will just follow the University of California State. Then second thing is environment protection activity. This is what we do. And the second thing, we want to check how many carbon sequestration in our campus. So we just measure every tree in our campus, and we set up a website to show our outcome. In the future, this website will also to show our progress in the tree of the carbon sequestration. But this is what we do. You can see, in fact, we're using the UAV to fly all our campus. Then in a spatial place, we just check. We check the position and check the parameter, check the height, we check everything. Then after we check this thing, we in fact, according to the intergovernment panel on climate change, we say it's IPCC. IPCC is measured, and we can find the total carbon sequestration of tree on our campus. It reached 65416 tons CO2 equivalent. And you can see the everything in this website. Of course, today we also have one paper. She have a presentation in the page. You can find your conference proceeding. You can find the page 105. We have many details. Show how to do the carbon sequestration of tree. The detail I will show in the paper, but because of time limit, so I cannot say too much. I just show how to do. Second thing is we have other company to do the circular economy. In fact, you can see later Professor. The CEO, the CEO, he will talk about the circular economy, and this is what we have them to do. So I think this figure is very clear to show their system of biomaterial factory. Okay, and this one, in fact, is our production. This production is we're using the Oyster powder to replace the sand in concrete. And in fact, now we just set up this one to apply the patent. So I cannot publish this paper. In fact, after patent accept, we will publish this paper. I think it's very useful. We replace the sand almost 40%, but the strength is still very low. The strength can be useful in the building wall is enough. So very low. So this is a picture. We take picture in Taipei. Okay. Okay, this is the first thing. The second thing is, I think you want to let everyone know to reduce the carbon emission. The most important is you must change the mind of the people. How to change the mind? I think the education is most important. So 6 years ago, Professor Chen Sixiong, he set up a master program in our campus 6 years ago. So from this year now, every year now we have almost 50 students in our department, including 10 international students, and 40 students come from the local Taiwanese students. And last year we passed the IET accreditation. The IET is the Institute of Engineering Education Taiwan. We got the accreditation for 3 years. And of course, in addition, from 6 years ago, we start to set up some facility and some lesson. This is our place. This is a learning system. And we set up some course and to training the student, training our volunteer of environment education. So this is environment education. I teach the young student how to measure the rainfall depths and teach them how to protect themselves. It's really important for the student. I think we want to teach the student I think the best age is from maybe 10, more than 10 years old. The young one we can understand, we can follow. This one you can see from the 109年 just 2020 we got 2 certification. This is one is the institute, one is the facility of the environmental education from the Ministry of the Environment Protection. We have more than 23 teachers in our institute. More than we still increase our teacher. How do we need to so many teachers? In fact, we have the totally 120 20 hours course. This course is for the environmental education. So in the past year, we have one course, one class to teach 120 hours. And we teach, in the last year, we teach more than, I think more than 100 students to be the environmental education license, the guidance license. We also have the volunteer. Today, if you see somebody that just dress like this, dress some green dress, so it means he's volunteer. You can ask him anything. This is our facility, but because of time limit, you cannot see. Like this one, we have some permanent element in here. This, of course, this one, why I do this one? Because we know the groundwater is really important. So if you this kind of idea and just let everyone to understand, you must increase the infiltration rate, increase the infiltration of the surface. You can increase the groundwater. If you increase the groundwater, you can have more water can be used to anything. Okay. So of course, in addition, we have many facilities to pass the certification. So this we say this one is the university social responsibility. So in the past 6 years, like in the Oyster is in Yao County, and the Jiayi Jiuchang is in the Jiayi County, and they got the certification of the environmental education. And now we have the other 5 facilities, including Minxiong, Jiayi Si, and the Taiwan Sugar Company, and the Foto Jinguan, and even here in Liyue. So now we hope these 5 press can got the certification of the environmental education. Of course, we do many conference, and we also have some. We just take our student, to do many service. For example, like this one, we go to the Kaohsiung to mark the Zidandie, and our international student to join. And after they join this activity, when they go back to their country, I think they will be understanding we need to protect the environment. And moreover is last year COVID-19 is very serious. So we do many online learning. You can see this on our website, including today. Today our course. We will record the course, and we will upload to the YouTube website. Everyone can in the future, if you miss this conference, you can see this again. Like this one, this is transition. This is food and agriculture education. Last year he did very well. He just online speech. I think more than 500 persons want to join this conference, join his motivation. Then we just open 3 websites, 3 Google Meet to let everyone to join. So I'm very proud I can invite so famous professor to join our our online course. So I'm really happy. So because of him, so our more than 1,000,000 人 to join our YouTube channel. Okay. Of course, in our campus, we do many things like this one, this green office, green restaurant. Okay, so this is our current what we do, but how in the future how to do. So this year we have some plan. The first issue is this year we got the certification of the ISO 14064 H1. So this is the first thing we will do. The second thing, we will just on this license, we will list the carbon sequestration by the tree. We have, in fact, in our school, we have tree. We have a big detention pond, and we have so many soil. So we are using this equation. We will just check all the carbon sequestration and write down all the report on this certification. And this first thing. And the second thing, we have our plan is we will add more tree and replace all tree and want to increase the carbon sequestration. And all of things, what we do, we will apply the certification. This certification is just controlled by the Ministry of the Environment Protection. And after they agree, we can just reduce our carbon emission of our campus. So this is what we will do in this year. And the second thing, we now have planned here. Here is some wooden house before. This wooden house is for our professor in our campus. Now all the wooden house now is disappeared. So our plan is we want to add solid panel here, solid panel here, and solid panel here. On this solid panel, we don't sell the solid panel to other place. We just use the solar panel to supply the power of our campus. So this place we can reduce our electric power. Then in the next year, we want to just extend the renewable energy on the building roof. That is our next step. So this is what I think and what I will do in this year and next year. Okay. So in addition, we want to we can say we have do something. We can just have a conclusion is first thing we do education. The education is we develop the carbon neutrality education plan. This is what we do. The second thing is we check how many carbon emission in our campus. So we must we just calculating the industry carbon emission. This is the second thing we do. And the third thing is we just check the carbon sink of our organic agriculture. This is what we want to do. And the final thing, I will help the Taiwan company to do the carbon footprint of the Oyster shell. So this is what I want to say today. Thank you.